So let's talk about Michael Flynn, this We the People thing. We did bring it up a little bit yesterday, so we'll sort of segue off this into Trump's call for victory. You know, he's calling on SCOTUS to give him the win. Before we do, man, I didn't even say this. Subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. You may have noticed we changed the cameras a little bit.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to change them a little bit further. We're just kind of making things better and better as we go along. But again, subscribe live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And again, smash the like button. So check this out. We have this tweet. General Flynn said hashtag We the People. He tagged Sidney Powell, Lynn Wood, Dan Scavino, Lou Dobbs, Maria Bartiromo, Mark Levin, and who's Lowfly? I don't know who Lowfly is. Just proud wife of an American hero. And then it is the press release from the We the People convention. If you didn't see this yesterday, this is a call for Donald Trump to declare martial law to enact a new election. And a lot of people are saying that's crazy. It's unconstitutional. How would he even do this? And what they're saying is Trump needs to have a new election, paper only, secure, poll watchers and all that stuff. I don't think it can be done. Right now, what the We the People convention are saying is martial law is preferable to civil war. So they're basically saying if Trump does nothing, we're going to have civil war, or it's extremely likely. Well, if Trump declares martial law and says Joe Biden didn't win, then we're going to have civil war. There's no way around that.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, my solution to fix this problem is to, I don't know why people aren't talking about this. Let's break up the country in two. You like government? You like Joe Biden?
Divorce?
Stay on one place? Yeah, I mean.
What, the cities leave?
Yep. No, the cities represent themselves, and people who want to be under one government will be under one. I think really we're headed towards a very dangerous situation, and I think the only way to avoid getting it being even more worse for everyone is to just simply walk away from it. I think we're at an opportunity
I guess
time.
We saw what John Podesta was suggesting, that it would be better for Joe Biden for the West Coast to secede from the Union.
Yes.
Than to allow Donald Trump to win.
They'd get invaded immediately. If a city tried to secede, they'd get invaded by the United States. Any of those states tried to secede.
Oh, absolutely. They'd be occupied in 2 seconds. And then it would just there's actually been conservatives calling for that, saying remove the local leadership, the politicians, and just put it under territorial rule, revoke their statehood. And it's getting crazy out there, man. Yep. Listen, I could understand why Michael Flynn is retweeting. You pull up some of these websites and they're like, Michael Flynn calls for martial law and things like this. It's well, they're pushing this idea. We can be careful in that. I completely understand why Michael Flynn would be saying this. They railroaded the guy. They threatened his family, plead guilty to this BS charge, or we're going to go after your kid. And then when Trump got in and said, we're getting rid of this, they were like, nah. Judge Sullivan refused to allow them to drop the case. It makes no sense. And then he was sitting and waiting. You know why Sullivan was waiting and not just saying, fine, we're going to rule on this? Because he was just going to wait it out until Biden gets into office and then say, okay, we're back on track. Flynn, you're going to prison. So Trump issues that pardon. Flynn's livid, and he says, do it. I get it. Because he went through the corrupt process. And is there going to be justice? Shouldn't that judge face some kind of censure or impeachment? What about the FBI agents who threatened his son and said, we're going to prosecute your son unless you plead guilty? All of them get away with it. So, of course, he's coming out and saying, Trump, shut it down.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Flynn definitely didn't have any friends in Washington, D.C. when he was coming into power with Donald Trump. He's one of the few people that actually whistleblowed on the U.S. agency. Whistleblowed on the U.S. agencies financing jihadis in Syria. He's one of the few ones that was inside of Obama's administration that released information and said it's because of Barack Obama, it's because of Hillary Clinton, why we have ISIS in the Middle East. And that was
retribution.
Yes, it exactly was retribution. Wow, there's no other way to really see it, because when Michael Flynn came out, I was talking about all the important information he was finally confirming, because I've been saying for a very long time, especially since there was this kind of quote revolution in Syria, this kind of liberation that Hillary Clinton was supporting of the Syrian people. When that was happening, I said, wait, hold on. Why is Saudi Arabia, Israel, the United States all working on this one side? Why are the rebel groups being financed and armed here? Who are these rebel groups? They were al-Nusra, they were al-Qaeda, and then they became ISIS as well. That was financed. The only person inside of the government that actually confirmed it it, that actually spoke out against it, was Michael Flynn.
Wow, man.
When Trump picked him to be a part of his administration, this was one of the reasons I was like, there might be some legitimate change here, because Michael Flynn is at the helm of national security, of American foreign policy. There's a chance that we finally might revert some of the horrible foreign policy decisions by Hillary Clinton. Then he didn't even get into office because of why? Why? Because of the Espionage Act, an act that
the Logan Act.
The Logan Act that wasn't used against
anybody,
someone
ever
for how long?
Never used.
Exactly. And then his charge officially was because Kushner told him to contact Russia, so Russia would vote favorably with Israel.
It's not That's not even it. Yeah. There was an excuse. Based on the notes that were released throughout this investigation, I think it was coming from Durham. I'm not entirely sure. No, I don't think it was Durham. I don't know where these files were released from. It shows that it was possibly Joe Biden who suggested the FBI use the Logan Act. The Logan Act basically says that you, as a non-government agent, can't act as though you are representing the U.S. government. No, it's never been used before because it was written for a time when there were no telephones. Now a guy shows up and says, "Hey, I'm an ambassador." They call the number and says, "This is an ambassador." He's not. Get out of here. Michael Flynn was the acting national security advisor for Donald Trump. He was coming in. He had a phone call with Kislyak, the Russian ambassador, and he said, please don't escalate sanctions. Let us come in and try and work things out." That was it. That was his job. He was supposed to do that. So they threatened him. That's the Logan Act.
Yep.
So there was an informal meeting where they're like hanging out at the White House, not a legitimate investigation, informal meeting. And they asked him, "Do you ever talk to Kislyak?" And he said, no. And they went, got him. He lied. They went to him and said, confess, plead guilty. Otherwise, we will go after your son. Notes that got released from the FBI showed that the agents were asking, what's our goal here? To prosecute or get him fired? Now, why would the FBI just be trying to get a guy fired? This was retribution from Barack Obama. I didn't know that about Flynn spilling the beans.
And then it's very important to understand here how the mainstream media was reporting on this when it was happening. They were like, confirmed Russian collusion. We have an active case. Michael Flynn deserves to go to jail. I mean, what did Michael Flynn do? He called the Russian ambassador right before getting into power.
While he was the acting national security advisor.
I mean, and like Biden right now is calling up world leaders, talking to him. If you're going to charge Michael Flynn for that crime, you're going to have to charge Joe Biden if we're going by the law, by the definitions of how you enforce them. So that's something that people really need to kind of pay attention. Of course they're not. Of course. You have Joe Biden literally studying up there talking about, all this nonsense. Literal president-elect behind him.
Isn't he getting a cat? Joe Biden's getting
undoubtedly
should have a cat.
He's getting a cat,
not a German Shepherd.
Look, man, Luke, I respect that you're so passionate about children being murdered and corruption at the highest levels, and our patriots like Michael Flynn being falsely targeted and imprisoned. But I think I need to point out Joe Biden was playing with a dog. You hear that? He's got a German Shepherd.
Cute socks.
Yeah. So dogs are so great, aren't they? Don't talk about
Joe Biden.
Nobody wants to hear this. No.
Yeah.
Go to sleep,
I
everybody.
I appreciate your love
Here's
for
American
humanity
gladiators,
and that you care about people and want to protect people. But Biden is getting a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's more important here.
One of my favorite
like
lines from I'm forgetting his name.
Bill Hicks.
Here's
Wow.
American Gladiators. What is it? Here's 47 channels of it.
Yep. Here's, distract yourself, America. Go back. No. George Carlin also said, go back to sleep, America, because the only way you could have the American dream is if you're asleep. Yeah,
Bill Hicks said, go back to bed, America. Your government is in control again.
Yes. Yeah.
Yikes.
Amazing comedians that have really paved the way.
That line sums up everything that's happening. I didn't know that about Flynn.
Yeah.
He's legit.
So there's no...
Wow, dude.
Well, he's a weird character because he also has a very strong kind of war policy towards Iran.
Yeah.
But when it came to being inside of the Obama administration, he's one of the few people that actually spoke out against some of the very wrongdoings that Obama was committing when he was working for Obama. I actually talked to General Wesley Clark about these very kind of similar issues, and it's absolutely mind-boggling to see how everything operates. General Wesley Clark was one of the few people inside of the government that came out on Democracy Now! And talked about this U.S. plan for larger war.
Right. What do you name? Like 7 countries.
With 7 countries and U.S.
Libya, Syria.
Yeah, U.S. foreign policy was literally
Iran,
going
Cuba,
along with
then?
it. I talked to U.S. General Wesley Clark. I was like, thank you so much for warning us about, this coming. There was, something that didn't always, you weren't a true fortune teller, but most of what you said is coming true. How did you know what's going on? Are you scared that you whistleblowed and talked about this plan for all these wars? He looked like he just saw a ghost. He turned white and he was like, and then he walked away and ran away and then didn't say anything. And it was just another awkward We Are Change kind of interview that we have a lot of them.
Ambush questions.
But they're trying to put central banks in all these countries, like Libya.
Is that what they're doing?
That's why they went into Afghanistan.
Yeah, but
and
that's
Iraq.
a different theory out there.
Well, now there's central banks in Afghanistan and Iraq. Iran doesn't have one. Syria didn't have one. Doesn't have one.
Iran doesn't have one.
Libya didn't. Now it does. No, Iran doesn't have one.
So
Cuba doesn't have one. North Korea doesn't have one.
If one of the biggest one of the talking points coming up now is that everything Trump is doing with like the DOD and stuff is an attempt to ramp up going against Iran.
Yeah, I mean...
start a war before he leaves or something.
Yeah, the Israeli military, there's scuttlebutt that they're preparing for the U.S. to, start a war with Iran. But again, it's just scuttlebutt. Nothing has been officially confirmed. We have seen very aggressive moves by Donald Trump against Iran. There's some people theorizing that Donald Trump may start a conflict with them.
To stay in power.
To stay in power and all that. I don't think that's true. I hope it's not true. But again, I haven't seen it certified with any legitimate information backing that. Just a lot of speculation and theories. But we don't have to speculate. We don't have to theorize what's going to happen with Joe Biden. All you have to see is his whole career in politics, but also his actions as vice president under Barack Obama, who made very telling statements today that are absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, there's another Madeleine Albright, it was worth it, hundreds of thousands of children died. Similar statement by Barack Obama about this kind of assassination program that he had, which is very important to talk about.
Let me pull this up. So I got this tweet from Luke, at Luke We Are Change. Just a video of Obama explaining how he had to stop himself from killing innocent children. This is from CBS. It's an interview with Stephen Colbert. It happened recently, right? It was a couple days ago.
Yes.
Here's the best thing. So seeing this interview, I thought, wow, there must have been a ton of journalists who wrote this up like, look at what's going on. But Joe Biden is Obama 2.0. He's appointing a lot of the same people. It is going to be a disaster. So I Googled it. And you know what I found? I Googled CBS drone Obama. The rap.
UFO?
Yes, Barack Obama knows the UFO answer, but he can't tell you. Obama compares Trump to dictator. Okay.
Yes.
There you go.
It's absolutely ridiculous. But just to tell you what Barack Obama said, his exact quote was, "The problem with the drone program was not that it caused an inordinate amount of civilian casualties." Although even one civilian casualty is tragic, but the drone probably had less collateral damage. And then he went on and talked about how he was using this and how there was a problem of how he saw it as not even war and how he was deploying it very casually without even thinking about it, and how he needed to set up particular measures to stop himself from sending out drone strikes all over the world. We have to understand, 7 countries were attacked under the Barack Obama administration. Somalia was also one of those heavily hit.
Secret war going on in Somalia now, apparently. CIA agent died in a terror attack.
Well, I was in Somalia, and I'll tell you, what's happening there is absolutely mind-boggling. I was able to talk to victims of botched U.S. raids where innocent farmers were pretty much assassinated because of bad intel and bad information. Now, the Somalia conflict, I mean, we could do a full 2 hours just about that in that issue particularly, but I just ended up there randomly because Jeff Berwick, the dollar vigilante, he's like an anarchist. He keeps saying that everyone keeps accusing him of not being a real anarchist, and if he is a real anarchist, he should go to Somalia.
So he did.
So he's like, I'm going to go to Somalia. And he was like, you want to come? I'm like, yep. We went to Somalia, and it was a surreal experience. And surprise, surprise, it wasn't that there was a lack of government. The problem was that there was too many governments inside
Fighting
of
each other.
Somalia vying for power.
Yeah.
The Middle Eastern countries were involved. Turkey was involved. Qatar was involved. AFRICOM was involved.
Wow.
The United States was involved. And they were all sending in and shipping in weapons, munitions, and then soldiers that were hired, that were supposedly the good guys, started selling them for food because they didn't have food.
Oh, man.
So it's a total mismanagement and a total conundrum of just absolutely what the hell is going on. When you go to Somalia, when you talk to some of these individuals, they are resilient. They are amazing human beings. I was able to talk to people who were severely affected by major terrorist attacks by al-Nusra, by major attacks by the U.S. military that killed their family members. And it's something else when you really go to these countries and you see the full effects of American foreign policy, and you stare a farmer in the eye as he tells you and shows you all the family members that your tax dollars financed that executed them.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. So come back to check us out when we go live. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and we are also available on all podcast platforms for free if you want to listen to us there. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you all next time.